Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Doki Doki Literature Club. Yuri is ellipsing. It's a good job. I'm sorry I have to... Your handwriting is fine. What are you talking about? I will admit, it took me a little bit to actually make out what it said, because it was slightly not what I'm used to seeing, but still... I feel like, again, Yuri is just someone that has super self-worth issues. What? I wasn't thinking that at all. You're a really bad psychic. Has anyone ever told you that? But it took you a long time to read. Hey, I'm half illiterate. I'm very self-conscious about it, Yuri. Well, I just don't read script very often. I actually think your handwriting is pretty. That's a relief. Also, I like the poem. Even though it's short, it was really descriptive. It wasn't too short? I mean, I do have to say, apparently my poem was 20 lines long and yours was like 7. Come on. I usually write longer poems. No, not at all. I'm really glad you like it. To be honest, since it's our first time sharing, I wanted to write something a little more mild. Something easy to digest, I suppose? I mean, I can't actually say that too much about that because I did the same thing. I specifically didn't pick the super dark options I had. Although I also thought I was sharing it with the whole class and not just Yuri, which I may still. It asks who the first person I want to share it with is. Are you into ghosts, Yuri? Actually, the story isn't about a ghost at all, Dameol. I must have totally missed the point. I didn't get a ghost vibe from it at all. I don't know what Dameol's on. Well, I suppose you did only glance over it after all. But remember that poets often express their own thoughts and feelings and experiences in their work. They usually do more than tell a simple story or paint a picture. In this case, perhaps the subject of the poem is only being symbolically compared to ghosts. Like I said, did not pick up anything about ghosts whatsoever. I almost feel like I missed something, to be honest, which makes me a little sad. Makes me just a little bit sad. Lingering on a last remaining place of comfort, unable to let go of the past. And soon to be left with nothing. Well, that's a lot more solid. Okay, I actually got the second reading from it. I very much thought it was a glimpse into Yuri's psyche, so I'm glad I'm smarter than Dameol, which again is a phrase I'm not used to saying. I hadn't even thought of that. Yes, you had, Dameol, don't lie. That's rather impressive. It's nothing really. Yours was impressive too, so... If anything, I'd probably learn a thing or two from you. Yeah, of course. You know, I was really nervous about doing all this, but in the end, I think I enjoyed it. I'll keep doing my best for you, Dameol. Me too. Okay, I do get to show it to everyone. Good, I was hoping to at least see all their poems. Even if I'm focusing on Yuri, in order to get her complete story, because it's funny, one person said, play it however you want, and another person said, you should probably stick with Yuri, which, from that, I take it to mean that if you spread it out, you won't learn as much about each of the individual characters, and that'll be harder to fix in the future. I may go through and delve into each of the individual ones. I don't know if I'll, make a Let's Play of that, but I do want to get Yuri's whole thing, but I am glad to actually spend time with all of them, and so, next one is, Sayori, because Sayori is my neighbor, and she is probably actually, it's weird, Yuri is my favorite character in terms of raw personality. Like, if I were really in this situation, she would be the one I'd be drawn to. However, being that I'm in a game, I kind of have a feeling where her story is going, and I don't know anything about the other ones. Sayori is the one that I'm more interested in, because she's the one that is my neighbor, and I kind of have the closest connection to overall. This is a good poem, Dom. I don't get to see hers? Are you sure it's your first time? Well, yeah. But that's a very odd phrasing. It's not that good. Am I the kind of guy to be writing poems like this in his spare time? Well, I guess you're right. But that's why it's impressed me. Well, to be honest, I was afraid you wouldn't do it at all seriously. Or that you wouldn't want to write one at all. I'm really happy just that you wrote one. Wow, it's super easy to, like, impress Sayori then. It's like, you actually put your pen to paper! You're amazing! Just reminds me of how you're really part of a club now. Not to mention the fact I'm standing in front of you in the club room. Well, yeah. I'm not really into it yet, but that doesn't mean I'll break my promise. It does seem like the main character... I feel weird calling him Dameol, so I have to apologize. But it seems like the main character is very, very, like, honor-bound. For some reason, his word means a lot to him. It's like I said before, Dameol. Deep down, you're not selfish at all, you know? Trying new things like this for other people? Well, that's something that only really good people do. Not sure if Sayori sees the full picture of my motive here. Then again... can't deny she's part of the reason I joined. She absolutely is. I do feel like there's a pseudo-unrequited aspect to their relationship. Like how much this means to her and all. Yeah! I want to make sure you have lots of fun here, okay? Oh, I'm sure you will. That'll be my way of thanking you. Oops, I missed that. History. Alright, well, I'm going to hold you to that then. Yay! Now you read my poem too. Absolutely. I was a little distraught that it didn't start with reading your poem, because that's kind of why I came here. Don't worry, I'm really bad at this. Wait, that's just... I'm really bad at this. We'll see about that. Dear Sunshine, the way you glow through my blinds in the morning, it makes me feel like you miss me. Kissing my forehead to help me out of bed, making me rub the sleepy from my eyes. Wow, hers is so much more juvenile than Yuri's. Are you asking me to come out and play? Are you... Oh, trusting. I cannot... The weird, like, all over the you thing caught me for a second. Are you trusting me to wish away the rainy day? Wait, why would the sunshine be trusting me to wish away the rainy day? I look above, the sky is blue. It's a secret, but I trust you too. If it wasn't for you, I could sleep forever. But I'm not mad. I want breakfast. Huh. So this is a much more juvenile poem than the other ones. It still does speak that Sayori, she's longing for a connection. She's longing for something more permanence in her life. I feel like she doesn't really feel as though there are things out there that are constantly with her and constantly reinforcing her position. I think it kind of speaks to her general lack of friends, because she's having to make associations of camaraderie and not friendship, but a better word than friendship, with just inanimate things like sunshine. And then the first half of the poem is just kind of super whatever. But the look above sky's blue, it's a secret, but I trust you too. To me, that almost speaks to an adversarial relationship that she's appreciative of, because she wants to sleep in, the sun won't let her. The two of them are working together in order to keep the rain away, even though she kind of wants to sleep. But at the end, she knows that getting up is better for her. It almost speaks to a desire to understand and appreciate the things in life that she doesn't want but needs. Sayori, this is just a guess, but did you wait until this morning to write this? No! Just a little bit. You can't answer just a little bit to a yes or no question. I forgot to do it last night. Well, at least that makes me feel a little bit better about myself. Don't be mean! I still tried my best. I didn't mean to say that it was a bad poem. It came out nice, or how do I put it? It sounds just like you. Especially that last line. I made eggs and toast! God, God, Sayori is adorable. This poem actually like lowers her in my esteem a little bit, just because I am so just absolutely fanatical about intelligence, and I love intelligence so much. But she makes me smile. Even though you were late to school, it's bad to skip breakfast. Get all cranky. Huh? I guess there's no point in arguing about that. Anyway, thank you for showing me. This was so much fun. Monica's the best. But next time I won't forget. I'll write it at night. I'm gonna write the best poem ever. Okay, next I will save Monica for the end, because she is also the one I'm kind of the most curious about, only because she is the super popular girl. Well, it's about what I expected from someone like you. Well, that's a little bit blunt. Excuse me. It's not like I said it was bad. It just didn't evoke any emotion at all. So, basically, it's not cute enough for your tastes. Do you want to get smacked? Hey. Anyway, I guess I need to show you mine. That is, I definitely avoided the cute words in there. Not that you'll like it. Eagles can fly, monkeys can climb, crickets can leap, horses can race, owls can seek, cheetahs can run, eagles can fly, people can try. But that's about it. Wow. This poem is worse than Sayori's. The best I can say about it is it seems to be showing that people... I think the people can try is not a slight against people. It's not insulting people for not being able to do these other things. I think it's, to a certain degree, saying that people can emulate anything that they can see around them. Whatever animals have a natural instinct to be able to do, people have people have intuition and inspiration and can emulate almost anything that they can run into. Although that's about it. It's still, it almost, I actually think I'm reading myself into this poem. I think her outlook is that animals have instincts and do what they're supposed to do, whereas humans are not instinctual beings, and that's a bad thing. Overall, worst poem so far. Honestly, I'm not a big fan. Yeah! I told you that you weren't gonna like it. Dameol, you're a fucking liar. There is no way you like that poem. What? Just be honest. I am honest. Why are you so convinced I wouldn't like it? Well, because everyone in high school thinks that writing has to be all sophisticated and shit. So people don't even take my writing seriously. Yeah, but isn't the purpose of poems for people to express themselves? Your writing style wouldn't make your messaging less valid. I certainly agree with that statement. You don't have to write a certain way. You have to write in order to communicate your ideas. I just don't find her ideas, and that's the thing. If you drill down to her ideas to something akin to Walden, it's a fine idea, one that I happen to personally disagree with, but it's an okay idea. The idea that nature overcomes civilization, and that may be what she's driving at. But oh my gosh, I am not a fan of her writing style. Yeah, exactly. I like when it's easy to read, but it hits you hard. Like in this poem. Seeing everything around you doing great things, it can be really disheartening. So I decided to write about it. Okay, I'm actually really glad that I kind of got to what she was pushing at. Although I think that I read her poem as a condemnation of humanity as opposed to a frustration inherent to humanity. But the other nice thing about simple writing is it puts more weight on the wordplay. Like, I set up for rhyme at the end, but then it made it fall flat on purpose. Helps bring out the feeling of the last line. That, I did notice that the intentional inversion, it reminds me of a poem I actually wrote in college, where it was, very sing-songy and simple, and went along, had this great rhythm, and then at the end, it was like, and this is a poem that I wrote here, and it rhymed right up until the end. And it was like the very last stanza did not rhyme at all. I guess more went into it than I realized. That's what it means to be a pro. I'm glad you learned something from me. Didn't expect from the youngest one here, did ya? She is super conceited. So I had to humor her with that last comment. Don't really care how old everyone is, but if she's feeling proud, then I won't take it away from her. Good, I do get to see everyone. I was half afraid I'd run out of time. Hi, Dameol. Having a good time so far? Yeah? Good. I'm glad to hear it. By the way, since you're new and everything, do you have any suggestions for the club? Like new activities or things we can do better? I'm always listening. Monica seems a little bit too professional to me. It feels like she's running the club the way she thinks the president should, but I don't really get a feel for her personality. Don't be afraid to bring things up, alright? Okay, well, I'll keep that in mind. Of course, I'll be afraid to bring things up as well. I'm much better off just going with the flow until I'm more settled in. I'm very much like that. It frustrates people I work with sometimes, because there will be something that goes on, and she'll be like, oh my gosh, this just happened, what do we do? And I'll be like, well, first we collect information and find out what actually happened. Don't go off half-cocked. But at the same time, they are looking at it from a situation of, we have to put corrections in place to make sure this never happens again, which I get, but I'm always very slow to condemn or slow to react. I'm like, I need information. I need to look at the procedure. I need to look at the cameras. I need to gather information. Anyway, want to share your poem with me? Well, it's kind of embarrassing, but I guess I have to. Don't worry, Dameol. We're all a little embarrassed today, you know? I don't know why. You guys have been... again, what have they been doing up until now? Because I get the decided impression that they have not been sharing their poetry. But it's that sort of barrier that we're all here to learn to get past. I hand Monica my poem. Oh, great job, Dameol. I was getting ooh in my head while reading it. It's really metaphorical. I'm not sure why, but I didn't expect you to go for something so deep. Well, I emulated Yuri wherever I could. I guess I underestimated you. Well, it's easiest for me to keep everyone's expectations low. That way it always counts when I put in some effort. Oh, that's not very fair. Well, I guess it worked anyway, though. You know, Yuri likes this kind of writing, right? Writing that's full of imagery and symbolism. Uh-oh, I think Monica's on to me. Unlike Sayori, who likes using simple and direct words to describe happiness and sadness. Yuri likes it when readers are left to derive their own meaning. And that's absolutely... I've always said that poetry is meant to evoke an emotion, but it's always best when you can... It's a collaborative effort between the reader and the writer. You know, if I just wanted to write a diary entry, I'd do that. It's very challenging to write like that effectively, both allowing people to get something out of it just by feel, or letting them deeply analyze all the nuances. It took years of practice, which I'm assuming Yuri has at this point. Never actually asked, though. Well, sure I'm nowhere near her level yet. Don't worry so much about that. You just do your own thing. Just keep exploring and learning by trying new things. Yeah, I'm sure I'll end up trying different things a lot. It'll take a while before I feel comfortable doing this. That's absolutely okay. I'd love to see you try new things. It's the best way to find the kind of style that suits you. Everyone else might be a little just get to your poem, lady. I want to see your poem. I gotta say, like, Yuri's was super fun to go through last episode, and this time both of my previous two poems were I'm like, oh. Everyone else might be a little bit biased towards their own kinds of styles. But I'll always help you find what suits you the most. So of course you have to write the way anyone else wants you to. It's not like you have to worry about impressing them or anything. Anyway, you want to read my... I absolutely want to read your poem now. Be confident. Someone claims not to be very good. Well, that's because I have to sound confident. Doesn't mean I always feel that way, you know. Ooh, scroll bar. Hole in a wall. It couldn't have been me. See, the direction of the speckle protrudes. A noisy neighbor, an angry boyfriend. I never knew I wasn't home. Oh, interesting. This is about finding a hole in the spackle. I peer inside for a clue. No, I can't see. I reel, blind like a film left out in the sun. Is that a pun? Real as a real film? But it's too late. My retina's already scorched with a permanent copy of the meaningless image. It's just a little hole. It wasn't too bright. It was too deep. Stretching forever into everything. A hole of infinite choices. I realize now I wasn't looking in. I was looking out. And he, on the other side, was looking in. Interesting. So this is... So ultimately, this is about coming back to your apartment or your house, finding a small hole from presumably a fight of some kind, that had gotten knocked in the wall, and you peek through to try and find out what's happening, only to find out that where you thought you were spying on them, you've actually been being violated the entire time, because they've been building into your life. This one kind of speaks to the impossibility of understanding. I think it speaks to the moment you realize that your own internal struggles and choices and decisions and uncertainties, they affect everyone, and that the world is so much bigger than you think it is, and it's kind of like that mind blow moment. I like this poem a lot. This poem is great. It may be my favorite poem, actually. So, what do you think? It's very freeform, if that's what you call it. So I'm not the person to ask for feedback. Luckily, I'm the last one you talk to. It's okay. Yeah, that kind of style's gotten pretty popular nowadays. That is, a lot of poems by putting emphasis on the timing between words and lines. When performed out loud, they can be really powerful. Well, I don't know if I was powerful when I read it, because I was reading it blind, but I tried. I did my best. What was the inspiration behind it? Well, I'm not sure if I know how to put it. I guess you could say that some kind of epiphany recently. Oh, the mind blow! I'm so... Granted, this is me being, a little bit... I don't know, rude's not the right word, but a little bit self-proclaimed. But I deeply, deeply, deeply love whenever I have a situation where I say a word and then that word is echoed by the game. It's been influencing my poems a bit. Epiphany? Yeah, something like that. Kind of nervous to talk about deep stuff, but that's because it's kind of coming on strongly. Everyone's better friends with each other. Anyway, here's Monica's writing tip of the day. Oh, I almost want to delve more into Monica to find out what her epiphany is. I'm a little bit sad she didn't delve into it more. Sometimes, when you're writing a poem or a story, your brain gets too fixated on a specific point. If you try so hard to make it perfect, then you'll never make any progress. Just force yourself to get something down on the paper and tidy it up later. Another way to think about it is this. If you keep your pen in the same spot for too long, you'll just get a big dark puddle of ink. So just move your hand and go with the flow. That's actually, it's related, but I know I've been, as you guys know, I've been trying to get better at art. A little, very, very slowly. I don't have a lot of time for it because I'm doing a whole lot of other things. But in working on my art and trying to improve, I did look at a class and have been looking over some tips. One of the big things they said is when doing the detail work and doing the shading and stuff, you have to continuously move your pen around. You can't stay in one spot or you'll just end up detailing forever in that spot. And then you won't be able to keep the same level with everywhere else. So you just need to detail, move, detail, move, detail, move. That's my advice for today. Thanks for listening. Well, I guess that's everyone. I glanced around the room. That was a little more stressful than I anticipated. So everyone's judging me for my mediocre writing ability. I don't know, only one person said it was bad. Most people said it was much better than I thought it would be. Even if they're just being nice, there's no way my poems can stand up to theirs. This is a literature club, after all. I guess that's what I ended up getting myself into, though. Across the room, Sayori and Monica are happily chatting. My eyes land on Yuri and Natsuki. They generally exchange sheets of paper, sharing their respective poems. Oh god, that's going to be a terrible one. As we read in tandem, I watch each of their expressions change. Natsuki's eyebrows furrow in frustration. Meanwhile, Yuri smiles sadly. What's with this language? Did Did you say something? Oh, it's nothing. Natsuki dismissively returns the poem to the desk with one hand. I guess you could say it's fancy? Yours is cute? Cute? Did you completely miss the symbolism or something? I was going to say the two of them are the absolute opposites in terms of writing style. It's clearly about the feeling of giving up. How can that be cute? Well, I know that. I just meant the language, I guess? I was trying to say something nice. You mean you have to try that hard to come up with something nice to say? Thanks, but it really didn't come out nice at all. I do like the interactions between these two. Well, I do have a couple of suggestions. That is the absolute wrong way of looking at things, Natsuki. People who like what you do are the worst person to ask suggestions from, because they will always just be like. This is why I know back when I used to take creative writing in college, they always said that don't show your work to your parents, because no matter what, they're going to love it. If you actually want to get better, you need to show it to critics. Which people did, by the way. So you already liked it. And Dameol did too. So based on that, I'll gladly give you some suggestions of my own. First of all, excuse me, appreciate the offer. I've spent a long time establishing my writing style. I don't expect it to change anytime soon, unless I come across something particularly inspiring, which I haven't yet. Wow, that's kind of harsh. And Dameol liked my poem too, you know. He even told me he was impressed by it. Oh? You realize you're so invested in trying to impress a new member, Yuri. That's not what I... You just... Maybe you're just jealous Dameol appreciates my advice more than he appreciates yours? Oh my god. Second day in the club, they're already fighting over me. What in the world? How do you know he didn't appreciate my advice? You didn't actually give me any advice, to be honest. Are you that full of yourself? No. If I was full of myself, I would deliberately go out of my way to make everything I do overly cutesy. Oh my god! Okay, that is the best comment she's made. I'm glad she's finally showing a bit of a backbone. Is everyone okay? Well, you know what? I was the one whose boobs magically grew a size bigger as soon as Dameol started showing up. What? I'm pretty sure, now granted, I'm not a girl, I don't know this, but I'm pretty sure that you don't have control over that, unless you're like saying she's stuffing her bra or something. Natsuki, that's a little... I don't like fighting, guys! Dameol. She's just trying to make me... She's just trying to make me look bad. That's not true! She started it! She get over herself and learn to appreciate that simple writing is more effective. This wouldn't have happened in the first place. What's the point of making your poem all convoluted for no damn reason? Meaning you should just jump out at the reader, not force them to have to figure it out. That is actually two very valid ways of writing. But that's it's a question of, is the purpose of poetry to communicate, or is it to express your feelings? And that's to a very real extent, people will learn better, and things will have more of an impact if it has to be a sharing of ideas. If they have to relate to it and make connections on their own, the poem will be more powerful. But you run the risk of them not making those connections. How me explain that to her, Dameol? Wait, there's a reason we have so many deep and expressive words in our language. It's the only way to convey complex feelings and meanings most effectively. Avoiding them is not only unnecessarily limiting to yourself, it's a waste. You understand that, right, Dameol? How'd I get dragged into this in the first place? Like, I know anything about writing. Well, I agree with, they'll probably think more highly of me. Here's a problem. This is a problem. I do agree with Yuri more, but I don't want to say that Natsuki is wrong. Natsuki's style of writing absolutely has a purpose and there's validity to it. You can absolutely express complex ideas using simple language, and to a certain extent, the simplicity of the language belies the meaning and causes greater impact. However, overall, that's a stylistic choice, and Natsuki is trying to argue that complex writing shouldn't exist. And Yuri is really just saying that you should, there's no reason to limit yourself, and I do agree with that. Natsuki, you're right that I liked your poem. See? That's not an excuse for you to be so mean about it, though. You shouldn't pick a fight just because someone's opinion's different. But that's not what happened at all! You wouldn't even take my poem seriously! I understand. Yuri, you're a seriously talented writer. It's no secret that I was impressed. But here's the thing. No matter how simple or refined someone's writing style is, they're still putting feelings into it, and it becomes something really personal. Natsuki felt threatened when you said her poem was just cute. I see. Wow, how am I, that's like a master's level psychology discussion. I didn't notice that I'm sorry. But you took it way too far. Yuri means well. And if you just told her how you felt, this wouldn't have happened in the first place. Are you kidding? That's exactly what I did! It was her that... Natsuki, I think that's enough. You both said some things that you didn't really mean. Yuri apologized. Don't you think you should too? She's trying this point being defiantly because she can't handle the pressure. I end up even feeling a bit bad for her. Sometimes when I'm hurt, it looks like a walk clear my head. See, or she doesn't need to. You know what? I'm gonna just do that. Especially for having to look at all your faces right now. Aww. And with that, we will unfortunately end this episode. Next time, we will deal with the repercussions of not siding with Natsuki. Sorry, Natsuki. Like I said, I do value her poetry. I actually think my way of going over it was perfect. I really liked the way I broke it down. I wish I didn't have to actually... I feel like the third thing I said, the first two when I talked to Natsuki and Yuri the first time, those were both fantastic and great and wonderful. Third one frustrated me slightly. But, oh well. I will see you in the next one. Thank you very much for being here. You guys are awesome, and tacos. Tacos are good. I'm back in Oklahoma. I get to eat real Mexican. It's amazing!